Alright guys, so I don't really film so many videos for YouTube now, but I thought I'd do this out of special request actually from Xavier. Most of my videos, I still do training, I still do my training videos, but I tend to share them now on Facebook, just for family and friends, but occasionally I will do a video like this for the public. And today I'm doing a video as requested about a couple of tattoos that I've got recently, mostly this one, but I will go into one that I had done a little while back as well, to explain why I've got it and to show it off. The one that I've got, I'm going to show you first on my hand, that I've had now for a few months, so that's fully healed. This I got literally this morning. I've literally just taken off the cellophane packaging, or cellophane packaging, you know, that cling film or whatever they put on you, and I've just cleaned it, so it was dripping blood and ink and all the rest of it. Anyone who's had a tattoo, especially a big one, will know that obviously the ink leaks for sometimes up to a day. But here we go. First of all, I'm just going to show you my hand. So that's what I got on my hand. All my tattoos are to do with the Vikings. I have Viking heritage, so it's just, and Vikings had tattoos, and so it's the main reason why I've decided to have tattoos really in the end. It's because I suppose it's part of my ancestry. May as well honour the ancestors and honour the old gods, so to speak, and one, I think they're pretty. They look pretty cool, don't they? But yeah, on my hand, I have a few runes. These are old Viking runes. Vikings didn't have a written language as such. When they wanted to write something, it was to last, and it had a significant meaning. And they wouldn't write it on paper. They didn't have paper and they didn't have ink. But what they did have was stone. And they used to carve their runes into stone, or onto the side of a building. They could carve it into wood, or onto the side of a long ship for basically the very important things that they needed. Or they would either tattoo on it on themselves, you know, on the flesh. Or they would put it on their swords, their weapons, onto steel. So basically wood, stone, flesh and steel. They were the only things they would typically write on. So their runes, they're not like our letters, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or all the rest of it. They're not like that. They have meaning. They're not letters, they're actual kind of general meanings. The one that I've got here is a ruse. That's the rune of strength and power. This one here is Jera. That is the rune of happiness. This one here, Laguz. My pronunciation's off, I do apologise, but Laguz, this one here. And that's on my ring finger, and I had that because that's a symbol of love, ultimately, love and passion. And this one is Sorelu, which is the rune of knowledge and intelligence and wisdom. So they're the kind of four things to me that I think are important to a man to have in his life. The strength to be a man and to do what a man needs to do. That happiness that comes of, everyone needs to be happy, right? Love, call me a old romantic, but I like love in my life. And knowledge, and intelligence and wisdom, because you know, there's no point going through the world and not understanding what you're doing. Now let's get to the main feature. So this is my arm tattoo. I'm just going to shut up and show you it for a little bit. So there you go. Now it's a little shiny because I've probably just put on bepanthen, which helps the tattoo heal, and it stops it burning and aching. But as you can see, it looks pretty nifty actually, doesn't it? It's not too bad. Now I will be getting another tattoo here and all the rest of it, so it will be a full sleeve eventually. It might be a mirror image or something very similar to there to go here, so it kind of feeds in, so it'll be almost like a two-headed dragon intertwined and stuff, like two dragons intertwined. And that is that. Now it's a very traditional tattoo in many ways. This represents, just to show you some of the details actually before going to the reasons why I got it. See its tongue, it goes around. And this was kind of designed by both me and the artist, the tattoo artist. You can see it wraps around. It's like follow the tongue, and it wraps around and eventually comes up here onto my back, and that's the end of the tongue that starts here, and the dragon himself also is intertwined. So very almost Celtic as well, because I have a Celtic background, so I wanted a Celtic wrought in there along with the Viking imagery. And this, what this represents, is something called the Midgard serpent, or it's sometimes known as the world serpent. And I can't pronounce that Viking name, but I will go Jorgamada or something. Basically, this is the dragon that holds the world up. In their belief, there was water surrounding all the land, and Loki, the god of mischief, had three children by a giantess. And the first child was Fenrir, which was a giant wolf. Second child was this, the dragon, the Midgard serpent. And the third one was a lady called Hel, which is where our word Hel comes from. She was actually the ruler of a realm where a proportion of the dead went, and it wasn't a very nice place to go. That's where our belief of Hel comes from. Obviously it's the devil instead of her ruling over it, but that's where the word hell comes from. And it was actually a Viking slur to go to hell. It meant die. It didn't mean go physically to hell. It meant die. Go see her hell. But this is the Midgard serpent. This is the second oldest child of Loki to the giantess that he had children with. And when it was born, he threw it into the great ocean that surrounded the world. And within the ocean, it's a bit like Snake. It sounds a little sad, that, but it grew so big that it could wrap itself around the entire world and bite its own tail. So you'll sometimes see this dragon more often, especially in old Viking representations. So it's more of a Celtic representation. But it would wrap around and bite its own tail, and it'd be in a circle. And it essentially represents cycles, essentially, and renewal. Essentially, almost like resurrection and things like this. That's typically, you find it a lot in Hinduism as well, and other beliefs that believe in reincarnation and similar sort of concepts. Yeah, I just wanted to show you it. Now, for those who are interested, I know most of you will just be trying to see the tattoo, but this serpent was the serpent that killed Thor in Ragnarok, which is the Viking apocalypse. Thor kills the serpent, but during their little fight, he obviously crushes it with his giant hammer. Well, not a very big hammer, with his hammer, crushes its skull. And but during their fight, during their wrestle, after the serpent poisons the sky, Thor comes along and they fight and they wrestle and they all tussle around and all the rest of it. Thor manages to deal a killing blow to the serpent, but the serpent during the fight bit Thor with its poisonous fangs. This dragon actually has very poisonous fangs. It's what it poisoned the sky with. And Thor, after killing the serpent, walks away from the corpse, from the body, victorious, feeling pretty good about himself, but 9 paces later, dies from the poison. So the serpent and Thor kill one another, and it's actually very traditional sometimes to have Thor fighting the dragon at the same time, kind of wrapped up in its tail, holding the tail. But I just wanted to give it to the serpent. I actually wanted the serpent to be kind of free on my arm. Just because, as I say, I think partly from aesthetic purposes, I didn't want a little man in there, but also, I don't know, I just like the idea of it being free. I don't want it wrestled and beaten down by a god. But anyway, that's that, and as I say, that's them which have healed. Any ideas, guys, in the comments what I should have here and here? I'm going to be keeping my tattoos literally just to the left side and upper part of my body, so I don't mind going onto the chest eventually, onto the trap. I won't go onto the neck, but I don't mind it here, and I'll go onto the scapula at the back. Sorry, the scapula on the back, and obviously inside and bottom of the arm. I don't mind going onto the hand and stuff, but I won't touch anywhere else on my body. I just want it on the left side, essentially my shield arm, because the Celts believed that these tattoos protected them. They marked them by the gods, so essentially you would just mark up your shield arm normally with road patterns and stuff. So I'm keeping it to the left, and that's as far as I'm going. But any ideas what to put elsewhere? My next one will be trying to cover up the lower arm, either this side or both. And the tattoo artist, Steve at Tattoos on Stratford Road, Birmingham, he was thinking maybe doing basically the same image, but a reverse mirror image, and obviously a little smaller because it's going on the lower arm. So the dragon head's down here and the tail wraps into this. I think that might be a good idea, but I'm still umming and ahhing. I've got a month to have this finished off. This isn't completely finished. It will look better after just a few little touch-ups, extra shading, things like this, in about a month's time. And I will show you either when this heals, I'll do another video, and then I'll do another video once the touch-ups are done. But in the meantime, guys, if you've got any ideas, Steve, I think, wants us to try and, when he touches this up, start the next one. I'm not sure if I'll have enough money by that point, but sooner or later there will be more coming on here to see how well I do at work and all that, right? But thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you liked it. Lovely to hear your feedback, and I'll see you soon.